I created a Gmail. Okay. And in that Gmail account, I have added a GCP cloud. Yes, give me 1 second. Okay. So what I did is I created a account on Gmail. Okay. And I then logged in into GCP. Now, only additional thing which I need to do is I had to create a payment details. So I had to add my credit card or debit card here. That's it. And I was able to log into this cloud environment. So as of now, you will see in my billing details, there is no account or there is no bill generated. So basically what GCP does is GCP gives you $300 of credit, which is valid for 90 days. Now, why am I coming to GCP now? Now, I told you that Kubernetes is a product of Google. So if you want, you can integrate and work everything on GCP, which is a very good place to learn Kubernetes. Here, I will show you how to go to dashboard and all those things. So simply, I will request all of you to create an account on GCP. Okay. The first and the foremost thing what you need to do in GCP is you have to create a project. So let me just come here and simply come here and say, I want to go to Kubernetes engine. So here you can say, I want to create a Kubernetes cluster. Click on this. Now, why am I coming here and why I'm trying to do everything here? Simple is you will get an opportunity to work with Kubernetes and everything will be free of cost. So first thing which it is asking me is to create a project. So let me create a project. So the project can be anything. Okay. You can give any name to your project. Demo Kubernetes project. Okay. Something like this is what I have created. And I'll be using this only. Organization, if you have any, you can mention, else you can leave it. So as of now, I'm creating a project and I will select that project. And going forward, I'll be using that same project only for all my activities. So you can see one notification got generated, which says that your project has been created. Now you can come down here and you can choose this project. So there is a tick, means this project is only chosen by default. Okay. Now, first thing is you can see here, these many days of this much credit and these many days are available. So till 90 days, you get unlimited access to all the GCP resources. Do not activate this. If you activate this, what will happen? Even after 90 days, your account will be active. And in case there is something which is not covered under free tier, so they will start charging you. So do not activate this. Stay within the free tier. Simply come here and say, I want to work with Kubernetes. So just enable this Kubernetes API, or we say Kubernetes engine. Okay. So I have enabled Kubernetes engine, first thing. Once you have done that, so two things I've done. I have installed or I have chosen a project. And the second is I am going to this Kubernetes engine and I'm saying I want to create a cluster. When I come here for the first time, it says you have to enable Kubernetes engine. So all what you can do here, you can build, manage container-based applications powered by open source Kubernetes technology. And I know that Kubernetes is coming from Google only. So here you will get a lot of things to work with Kubernetes. Okay. So creating an account is damn easy. You don't have to do much here. It may take some time to activate all these things, but once it is done, we will be able to do our activities. One more thing which you will need here is you will go here and you will have to activate your account shell, Cloud Shell. So what is Cloud Shell? So Cloud Shell is a terminal like in AWS, you have AWS CLI. Similarly, here you will have something called Cloud Shell. And here simply you have to come and you can write your commands. So what benefit you will get is you can write all your commands and you can run everything from here directly. Okay. So give me some 2 minutes and you will see that this particular thing both of them will be activated and you can get your work done. Now, the first thing is, if you just start, okay, it doesn't know which project are you going to work with. So you come here and this is your project ID. Okay, so this is the name, this is the project ID. So take this project ID and run this command. So anyhow, by default, it is putting you that only, but you can run this command. All the commands will start here by gcloud. 1 second. You can say gcloud, okay, set project and the project ID. So if you just come here, paste, this is my project ID. Where did I get this thing from? I got it from here. So this is not important. This is just the name for you to just visualize. This is important, ID. So I came here and I told this is the project ID which I'm going to use. Enter. What it says, set. Maybe you meant this thing, search. Wait a second. gcloud config set. My bad. I just missed that keyword. gcloud config is configuration. Config set the project ID. And then you have to just come here and authorize. So authorize is nothing but if you open the same browser, it will simply get authorized. Okay, so nothing extra has to be done here. Now, whatever you do, you can visualize it also here only. So now if I want to run a Kubernetes cluster, suppose I want to run a Kubernetes cluster. So I'll run something like this, kubectl get all. Do I need to install kubectl? No. So it says the connection of the server localhost 8080 was refused. Did you mean the right host or right port? So I'll open the port number. Port 8080 is not open. That's why it is failing. But I can simply run here the commands like kubectl. I don't have to go ahead and additionally install kubectl, okay, because it is inbuilt. So kubectl version. I can see kubectl is already installed, okay, and the latest version 1.252 is the version which is installed. So basically, I don't have to exclusively go and install kubectl or anything related to Kubernetes. Why? Because it is inbuilt in GCP, and that's why I'm coming to GCP. Now let me come here, cluster. So as of now, you can see here there are no clusters. If you want, you can take it to a different page, or you can maximize it here only, or you can minimize it, whichever is suitable for you. Or you can take to a different page or close it, whatever you want. Anyhow, so as of now, if I come here, I can see, so I'll take it to a different page, okay? So just click on this. It will open in a new browser. Okay, it will open in a new browser and this will become free. So you can simply cross this. Now here it says that, do you need a Kubernetes cluster? You can directly deploy containers and you can take a quick start. So I'll simply come here and say, I want to create a cluster. So it says, autopilot, which is managed by Google. Your cluster will be managed by Google, or you want to configure. So if you go with standard, you are the one who will manage the master node and worker node. But if you go with autopilot, means everything will be managed by Google or GCP. So let me say I will go with standard. Click on this. What happened? Configure. Okay, so what is the name of your cluster? So the first thing, what is the name of your cluster? So I told you, whenever you say cluster, it is a combination of master and worker node. And it says, if you run it for a month, the cost will be 158.38. And the total which we get is much more than that. Okay, free trial. So it is much more than that. But for 1 hour, it is only 0.22 USD dollars. So we can continue with this and we did not worry about the cost. So I can just come and give any name here. Let me give a name, demo cluster. Now it is zonal and regional. So zonal means which zone you want to put it. Like, wait, let me come to region. Now, if you see here, there are various places where the services of Kubernetes is available. Like it is available in North America, South America, US Central, US East. Okay, so as per the globe where you are, you can put your nearest location. If you are in Europe, you can put Europe. If you're in Asia Pacific, you can go with Asia Pacific. But generally, most of the people will go with US Central 1. Why? Because the central office of GCP is present in US Central 1 and gives you the best of what GCP has. It doesn't mean that the other places will not have it, but still people prefer US central one unless and until they have any restriction. Okay. Then you can say that I want to put it here. Then control plane. Now, will it be static version? Means you will manually manage it, or you can let GKE manage it. So again, like AWS, we have two types of control plane here. One, which is manual, like how we did in our COPS. We told that I want to create it. This is how I want to create it. And I was doing everything. I told these many master nodes, these many worker nodes, all those things I was telling. The second variety here is GKE. So here it is saying, let GKE automatically manage the control plane for you. You don't do much. You just go and say that GKE manage it for me and GKE will do everything. So let me say I will go with static version. Okay. Here it is saying which version you want. So 1.22, or you can go with other versions also, whichever you feel like. Let me go with the default version, hardly make any difference for me. And here you can go here and say create. Okay. So adjust quotas. Next. Okay. So it says you can't, so whatever cluster you're trying to create, you cannot put everything there. Okay. So all quotas is this much. Wait a second. Huh? Let me just come here. Okay, wait. So whatever I am trying to create, it is not allowing me to create everything there on US Central. Okay. Let me just go ahead and create. Wait a second. Wait, I don't need all these things. Go back. Next. Demo cluster. I will keep it as zonal for time being. Okay, one zone is what I'm going to keep. I will keep static version and I will go and say create. So whatever I'm creating, everything will be in US Central 1C. Okay, earlier I had given it as a regional, so it was telling how many regions you want. Now, if you see here, there is a demo cluster which is getting created and automatically 3 nodes are coming up. Okay, as of now, vCPU, virtual CPU is 0, total memory is 0. All these things will come up, but later. So first is I will wait for this status to become available. There will be a tick which will be coming up here. And if you go inside this demo cluster, so first time when you will be doing it, it will take a little bit of time. Going forward, you don't have to do anything like that. Simply you come and do whatever you want to. So as of now, the cluster is getting deployed and the health check will happen after that. Hide the progress. So this is the name and all. So the name of the cluster is demo cluster. I have put it in US Central 1C. The version is 1.22, which is the latest version. If you want, you can upgrade at any point of time. Maintenance window and all, I have not mentioned anything. Automatically maintenance will happen. Vertical pod auto scaling, if required, will happen. Node auto provisioning means if one of the node crashes, I have already mentioned 3 nodes should be there. If one of the node crashes, automatically it will be taken care. Okay. Auto scaling will automatically happen. If the workload increases, automatically the node worker nodes will increase. Networking, if you see, it's a private cluster. I have not opened it for the outside world. Okay. From security aspect, I have not enabled any GKE shield or RBAC, Google group RBAC, it is disabled. So as of now, it is only and only usable for me. I have not enabled anything. Later down the line, one by one, I'll show you how to go ahead and activate all these things. So as of now, the health check is going on and it is saying this is the health check for time being. Okay. Now, if I come here and say kubectl get nodes. Okay, it's saying the connection to the server local host was refused due Okay, so what I have to do is I have to open the port number so that I am able to connect to this machine. So let me go to nodes. This is my default node, and here I will find something called, let me go inside, I will find that port number. So I have to go and open that port number basically, because by default the traffic will be blocked. Demo cluster networking. See here, networking. This is the IP address, security, service control, instance group. Max surge is 1, pod IP range maximum. Where is this? Wait, let me find it out. Where is that guy? Health check is still going on. Storage is nothing. Nodes. It is there. E2 median. This is the pod. Okay. Anyhow, the nodes are not available for time being, unavailable as of now. So we are waiting for the health check to get ready. Once it is ready, you can deploy your application simply by clicking on this keyword like this, deploy. So if you want to deploy a new container, okay. Suppose this is new container. What is your repository? So you can say it is GitHub, Bitbucket, from where you're taking the code, and you can connect to them. So these things will become very easy. Existing container image. So if you have in GCR, you can put it here. So it will become very easy for you. I'll show you one by one all these things. Then if you come here to applications, as of now, there is no application which is running, but in case you want, you can put some applications. Storage, you can configure cloud storage. So persistent volume can be claim, persistent volume claim, storage class. So all these can be defined here. And 90% of the work you will not have to do by your own hand. Everything will be done by Kubernetes only. I'm still waiting for this machine to come up. Once these machines are up, then we can go ahead and do all our work. So once this is done, I will go ahead and open my port number. And after the port number is open, I will be able to do all my activities. Okay. Just go to network default. Okay. In the network, come and say enable APIs, means allow me to connect to the outside world. So this is what you have to enable. Static IP address, firewall routes. Add routes. I'm looking for a port number basically. Let me see if it is working. Let me go back to my this thing, my network. Let me come here. Go to my Kubernetes engine cluster. Okay, so 3 nodes are running. Okay, so this is my cluster. Okay, just come to nodes. Are the nodes available? Yes, the nodes are ready. Okay, so now I can see the nodes are ready. That's okay. Storage ready, logs ready. Now let me just go ahead and try to see if I'm able to access this. kubectl get nodes. It is saying, did you specify the right host port number? I think still that has not been enabled. I have to enable that. Give me 1 minute. Demo cluster zone. Wait. Nodes. In the networking, you have to just enable the port number. I'm looking for that. Where is that option? Pod IP range, maximum pods, sandbox, demo cluster, instance group, no, nodes, no, not here. Wait, let me come to networking, network security. No, not this guy also. DTS slots. This guy. No. Workload specification backup. Connect. Okay. Now it says if you want to connect to this cluster, run this in your G-Cloud shell. Okay. So let's copy this and run it here. Paste. Okay. kubectl get nodes. Okay. Now it is done. Okay. So basically what I have done, I'll just let you know. So first thing what I did, I went to here. This is my GCP account. Here I went to this guy, Kubernetes engine. I went all the way here, clusters, and I created a cluster. While creating a cluster, create a cluster. While creating a cluster, I went to the standard mode, okay, and I did everything by my own. Okay, it is paper node and all those things are there, but you do everything. Okay, so you can go ahead and configure standard mode, or you can go with the other one also, up to you. There is nothing much to be done. Give the name zonal and just go ahead and say that whichever engine you want to use and say create. Once it is created, come back. Once it is created, you have to simply come here to action and you have to say connect. When you say connect, you get a command like this. Okay. Simply come here, copy this command and run this command on your G Cloud, this thing. So I ran this command here. Once it is done, I'm able to connect to my cluster. See here, kubectl get nodes. So I'm able to see my 3 nodes which are running. Okay. Now, if I come here and say kubectl get all, I want to see what all is running. So I can see only one cluster IP is running. Now, everything remains as it is. Like I told you in the earlier class that let me say I want to run a deployment. Okay, deployment in Kubernetes. So let me say I want to run a deployment. So whether you are running on AWS, you're running via COPS, you're running in any way you want, nothing changes. Notepad. Now just come here and say language is going to be YAML. Control A, Control C, and back to your Cloud Shell. Here you can say, so internet is not stable. Clear. Nano. Deployment not stable. Why? I don't know. Deployment.yaml. Paste it here. This is my stuff. Control X, Y, enter. Now kubectl apply -f deployment YAML. And it says this deployment has been created. Now, if you come here and say kubectl get all, you will see your deployment is running. You can see 3 pods are running, 1 service, deployment, replica set. Now, if I want to see what is running, so let me copy this guy. Kubectl describe and whatever you have. And it will tell you that this is what is running. Nginx 1.14 is running. If you want to change, let me clear all these things. If you want to change, let me say I want to run the latest image. Latest, Control X, Y, enter. Go ahead and say kubectl apply. And you will see kubectl get all slow. Kubectl get all. You can see the older containers are getting deleted and the new ones are getting created. So there is nothing extra I have done. The only thing which I have done here is I have GCP account. Things really become very easy for me and I can see everything in a better way, I will say. More importantly, there is a UI also which I get. Let me come here. If you go and click on these applications, as of now, nothing. A workload. So you can see Nginx deployment is running 3 out of 3. Okay. If you want to get the details, you can see how much CPU is consuming and all those things, how much disk space it is consuming. The details, if you need, all the details will be here. So you can see app is equal to Nginx and it is a rolling update. And restart policy is always. Then if you want more details like revision history, like what all was changed. So this is the revision history. I started 1.142, then I changed to latest. Then events. These are the events which has happened. What YAML file is being used? So if you click here, you can see this is the YAML file. So whatever I have written on top of that, many things they have added. This is the YAML file which is actually running. Then if you want to expose your deployment, simply you can click on expose and it will get exposed. If you don't want to expose it like this, you have to come here to service. And you have to say that what kind of service you want. So ingress is something which I'll teach you tomorrow. Service. So system object. So these are the default things which are running already. Node IP, cluster IP, and all. On top of that, if you want to create one more, you can come here and say create cluster. Wait, I should get the option of creating it. Okay, it is giving me option to not create it, but I should get an option here. Discovery and load balancing, that's okay. Okay. Now back to cluster. Here, back here. And here it will show you nodes, storage, logs. So whatever has happened or auto scaling happens, it will show you here. So basically net, if you see here, you can add more nodes from here. You can deploy anything which you want from here. So basically it gives you a UI. Okay. So you don't want Nginx latest as of now. Okay. You want to change this something to a different thing. So you can go ahead and change everything, whatever you want. So basically what I'm trying to show you here is that in case you want to work with GCP, at least for Kubernetes, GCP is better because it is a product from Google, and Google has given much more facilities for you to explore it. Okay, where we can check cluster logs. So cluster logs can be checked here. Go to cluster, go inside the cluster, go here in the logs, and you can see the cluster logs here. Okay. Now let me open it for questions. If anyone has any questions, they can go ahead. Mute, allow. Yeah, go ahead if anybody has any questions here.
Sir.
Yeah.
Assume that I'm working with vendor as AWS for Kubernetes, and can I suggest the enterprise level?
Again.
Hello.
Yeah, can you repeat your question, please?
See, I am working vendor as a AWS instead of Azure.
Okay.
And then can I use the GCP also parallelly? The both can be managed, AWS and GCP.
Yes. At the end of the day, there is a concept of hybrid cloud. Okay, so hybrid cloud means some component will be on cloud A and the other component will be on cloud B. And let me say the third component is on your on premises. So this kind of setup is very much feasible.
Your voice is breaking, sir. Only to me or for everyone? I don't know.
But I'll tell you, there is one big problem which happens is connect directly router, but still if it is, give me 1 minute.
I think your internet is not working.
Yes, even I feel like that the internet is having a problem. Your voice is breaking, network issue. Okay, fine. Let me go with the question now. I think it will be a little bit better now. Okay, so basically what I am saying is there is a concept of hybrid cloud. Okay, so when you go with the hybrid cloud, you can have multiple applications running on different clouds. It is feasible and theoretically it is possible, but the only problem which exists is connectors. So when you take a connector which will connect AWS and GCP, these connectors are very costly. So it is recommended that you go for one cloud, or all the operational work which you're doing, do on one cloud only. You can use the other cloud as storage. So that is how it is recommended. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because suppose I'm currently working with AWS, just assume, and then I wanted to transfer to Azure. Will it my AWS complete data can be transferred to Azure?
Yes, migration is always possible. See, data is something which can be, see, data, there are, like, suppose you are working on AWS, okay? There is a service called DMS, data migration service. So you have a lot of data in your table, you can take that data. Or if you have some application, so application, let me say, is now an image. An image is in Docker Hub. So here you have something called GCR. In the coming class, I'll show you how to work with GCR, Google Container Registry. So the same image which you earlier had in ECR, Elastic Container Registry, now you will put it in GCR, Google Container Registry. Once the container registry is GCR, you can pull that image and you can start your work here. So that is also possible. So I will teach you how to work with GCR in coming class.
Okay.
Yes, Vikas, please. I didn't see how you install the Cloud Share.
Yes, this is Cloud Shell. I have not installed Cloud Shell. Cloud Shell is available on GCP by default. You have to simply come here and you have to activate Cloud Shell. That's it. And once it is available, you can simply go ahead and run your commands. You don't have to do any installation on top of this. So I'm not a very big fan of GCP, but at least for Kubernetes related things, GCP is really, really, really very good. When you compare with Azure or AWS or anyone, at least for GCP, Azure, at least for Kubernetes, GCP is very good.
Because it's own product,
Thank
right?
you.
It is own product. You can think like it's own product, or the UI which it gives you is very, very handy. You can find everything on a click of button.
Yeah,
I
like
showed you.
we can, yes, from the GUI we can find out like we can create the cluster and ports
Exactly.
enabling, services enabling, and all these things we can do from here.
I
right?
think it is user friendly.
Yes, it is user friendly. So see, the exact same features are available on AWS. It is available on Azure. I don't want to say that Azure is bad or AWS is bad. But when you compare AWS and GCP, because I've shown you both, you will see GCP is much more user friendly. Things are right in front of you. Only the thing is that when you run it, make sure that you close it, because every time what happens is your cards are linked. If you keep it running, they will keep charging you. And if you are done with the free tier and still you are running, then you are gone. So please make sure that you terminate your clusters once your work is done.
And sir, you will be showing that when you are working with GCP for Kubernetes, the data migration will be done to AWS. You'll be showing it, right? That
I don't have connectors. I cannot show you that. I can migrate the images and I can show you, but for the data migration, I will need connectors. I don't have that. So you will need a VPN, site-to-site connectivity. I don't have that. That is very costly, man. That is.
and here say this is only for education paper, not for real time, like
No,
doing some.
real-time project I will show you. I'll show you a real-time project. I'll run Istio sidecar and I will create a shopping app right in front of you. And you will be able to use it. Even you can commercialize it. If you spend some money on that, you can commercialize it also. Obviously, somebody should go and buy your products, but you can use it for commercial purpose. So the project which I'll share with you will be 100% a commercial project or a enterprise project, I'll say. But it is like more of a learning purpose. But whenever you go with your resume preparation, you can definitely say that, see, this is what I have done. This is what I have implemented. So the project will be of a production grade. It will not be a hello world project. That I can assure you 100%.
Because normally, having one query regarding this deployment, like deployment strategies, what we'll use actually.
See,
like in the
deployment strategy also will come in the coming classes. So basically what happens is by default, you have seen the deployment strategy is rolling update. Okay.
Yes.
On top of that, we have another deployment strategy, which is blue-green deployment. Okay. And then there is a canary deployment. So generally companies use canary deployment, Android and all, right? When you see that Android says I'm launching a new update, you will see that they do not launch the update simultaneously for everybody. They will say, okay, this update has been launched in US and in US for these provinces.
Yes.
So that is weighted deployment, like 20% of users, for them, it will deploy. It will wait, see whether it is working perfectly or not. Then they will deploy it on another 40%. So like that, they deploy. That's called canary deployment. So I will teach you that thing, how canary deployment works, how blue-green deployment works, and how rolling update. So rolling update is the default, which you have already seen.
So this entire Kubernetes mainly used for deployments only, right?
No, see, Kubernetes is for container orchestration, container management. The actual work will be done by containers only. So if you remember the first class I told.
Yeah, but again, containers, or we can do it by through Docker also, right?
But who will manage them? Suppose one
only
Docker
for
container. Correct. I'm repeatedly saying in every class I'm saying Kubernetes is only doing container orchestration. If you go to the official definition of Kubernetes, they will say that it is a container orchestration tool. So Kubernetes by itself cannot do anything. See here, it's an open source container orchestration system. which will deploy, scale, and manage your containers. The actual work still will be done by containers. Containers will do. The containers can sit in your Docker Hub. It can be there on your GCR. It can be there on your ECR. It can be in your local repository, private repository. But work container will only do. Shiv Prasad, I'll take your questions. How to roll back and redeploy in GCP. When I'm teaching you the deployment strategy, there I will show you how to do roll back in case there is a problem. How to roll back. Here there is a command in case you just want to do a rollback. I had given this command earlier also.
And sir, just for managing, there are so many things are involved in this Docker.
It is the market is like that only. What can you do? You read any documentation. It is not like I told them you just blindly believe whatever I'm telling. But still, if you go and see the
No. Concept wise, it is only for container orchestration, right?
In container orchestration, there are many things, right? Management, deployment, scaling. So these are there. So these are very important. That's why.
Container orchestration deals with admin and maintaining everything, right?
Yes. So as I told, CKA, CKAD. So CKA or the admin will do all these things, the node configuration, setup, and all those things. You as a developer, if you go, you have to write those Docker files. You have to write these config files. Okay. So all these things you have to do.
Yeah. And coming to the migration from AWS to GCP or something like, we can get the data to GCP from AWS through Snowball.
Again, it will depend on the volume of data, how much data you have.
Yeah, and the image, we get the same image from the GCR. Here in AWS, we're using ECS, right? Container registry, ECR.
Tell me again, I just missed your question.
So the image that we get from AWS is ECR, right? So if the same image has to be taken, the
Then
same
you
application.
have to tag it. You have to tag it.
Okay. Can't we pull that to the Git and from there, can't we go with the GCR?
See, if it is Docker Hub, yes, you can, because Docker Hub is like common for everyone. But directly pulling from ECR, I don't think that is possible. I need to check that. Like, because at the end of the day, there are rivals, right? GCP is a rival for AWS. Azure is a rival for GCP. So direct integration is not possible. There are third-party connectors with the help of which you can integrate. But if on a GCP platform, if you're directly trying to pull a Elastic Container Registry thing, I don't think that is possible. Directly, it is not possible. Via connector, yes, it is possible.
Okay, via connector. If not, like we need to write a manifest file and do that again.
Yes.
In case alternative way.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Then somebody asked me how to do a rollback. So I just done a rollback. kubectl rollout, undo deployment, and the name of the deployment to revision 1. So I have come back to my older deployment.
Sir, our container is running in which node? Can we see?
Containers, if you want, you can see here. You can go inside the pod and you will see your container.
So in which node? We have 3 nodes. So in which node it is running?
See, every container. Now, if you go to the definition of this pod, okay, let me come here.
See
here, if you come to the definition of pod, each pod has one container. So here, each will have one. So let me say this is the definition of your pod. So each pod will have one container. And if you want to check that, you have to just describe this particular pod. Where's the pod? Just come here and describe this. kubectl describe pod. So now I am running the older version. So it should show me the older version. It is showing the 1.142 because I did a rollback. If I did not do a rollback, it will show me the latest version. Okay. Now GCP is easy, and for practice purpose, I will recommend that you should use GCP, but in case you are finding difficulty or anything like that, go with interactive shell. That is also not bad. But if you are going with EKS or anything like that, the commands and all will remain same. Only there will be a cost involved. So you decide where you want to practice. And once your work is done, simply come here and say delete. That's it. You don't have to do anything on top of that. Simply delete the cluster. The billing will stop and your work is scrapped. Okay.
Sir,
Vikas,
hello, sir.
What is the-
In describe, we can see in which node our ports is, how many ports are running.
In disk, you use the command kubectl get nodes. Okay. And with that, say -o wide, something like this. Kubectl get nodes -o means output wide. When you say wide means show me the further detail, like anyhow it is getting deleted. So it will not show you everything, but you say -o wide. O is output, wide is a bigger detail. So it will give you all the details, like in which node, which pod is running, everything related to that.
And sir, here we have to define the RBAC rule manually, or we have
Yes,
to
it is an
use
admin's
CDP?
responsibility to define the RBAC rules. If you don't want to go with the RBAC rules, the benefit in the cloud is you get something called IAM user.
Yes.
Now, if you go with IAM, they will only define a role for you. So you don't have to exclusively go and say RBAC. So let me say I have given you only access to view the cluster. So you will only be able to view the cluster. You will not be able
Right.
to edit the cluster. So
Right, in like we have created in AWS,
yes,
we have
same,
assigned the role administrator, or
same will happen on your here also.
Like when we done the Jenkins, right?
Correct.
thank you, sir.
Any
So
more questions?
here we don't need to define manually, right? Or
No, IAM
if
you
we
have to
want,
define manually. IAM you have to define manually. It is
Yes,
not auto. See,
yes.
as of now, when you log in for the first time, you are a root user, you are an admin, you will be able to do everything. But when you
Yes.
go for a company, you will not get admin access. There will be someone who will be giving you access. So that
Yes.
someone will give you limited access.
Right. So, sir, my question: if we not define by IAM rules, so in the last session we done RBAC by command. So here we can also done by command.
Yes, you can do by RBAC also. So RBAC is you are restricting the user at cluster level. But because I am on cloud, I am saying restrict the user at IAM level only.
Vikas.
Yeah.
In real time, like mostly many people will use Nexus repo, right? But again, we have to upload the image in the both GCR and Nexus as well, or
No,
we
you can directly see Nexus is a third-party repo.
Yeah, third
Okay.
party.
So third-party repo, if you have a private repo, you can directly pull it from Nexus. See, third-party repos like Nexus, JFrog Artifactory, then Docker Hub. These are third-party. They are not rivals. They are third-party. So you can directly pull from there. People like Azure Container Repository, AWS Container Repository, there you will need plugins. So you have to first clone it and bring it to GCR, and from GCR you have to pull it.
Okay, we have to clone to GCR, and then from the GCR only we have to use
Yes,
pull the container the image. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'll assume that you will create an account and stay in the
Vikas,
free tier. Yeah.
just one question. What will be the correct answer for why we are moving from container to Kubernetes? What is the correct answer?
When you say container, okay, container is
Containers means Docker, sorry.
Docker. When you say Docker, Docker container is one-time activity, or see, container is what? One program which you are running. But when you have an application, let me say you are running a trading application. Okay. So in trading, you will have multiple features. Okay. Each feature is one Docker container. I told you that example, right? That Uber thing. So when I go to Uber, I see there are many things, like there is driver management, passenger management, his feedback, his location, his billing console. So each component is one container. Okay. What we say is, we don't say it is one container, we say it is one microservice. Now, each microservice has to work with each other. So if I start using Docker Compose, I have to manually manage everything, the networking part. If I use Docker Swarm, I'm not able to configure all these things. So I need a container orchestration tool like Kubernetes, which will manage for the work for me. So the actual work done by containers, the management of the containers is done by Kubernetes. So it is like both are working together, something like that.
Okay.
Fine. See you then, guys, tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hmm?